Hey YouTube, it has been a while and I am finally back. This is actually not going to be a makeup video. It is going to be a video on just what I do in my everyday life. I do HR for a fabulous company that I've been working for a few years, and basically my role there is to find new talent, train them, and let them become this amazing sales associate. I will be recruiting and looking for people and attending job fairs and doing all that stuff. And it kind of brought me back to when I was 18 years old and I applied for my first job. I first applied to the Baby Gap, and I remember going in there. I had just turned 18. I mean, I didn't even look like I belonged at the Gap. I remember I had on, what did I had? I had on like a echo red not a sweatsuit and like some Adidas sneakers, and I was a hot mess. I think I had on like I don't know. Anyway, so I went into the Baby Gap and I asked for an application because I figured all you had to do was, you know, walk into these stores and get an application and then bring it in, and then that was that. But I was totally surprised. I walked into the Baby Gap and the manager, his first question was like, okay, well, why should I hire you? And I was like, oh, like in my head, I was like, I'm awesome. Like, of course you should hire me. But this guy knew nothing about me, and I had to give him an answer right then and there. And I came up with this answer, and I will never forget this. I said, you should hire me because I like to smile. Oh my God. Okay, so I never got that job, right? I ended up working for American Eagle when I was 18 years old, and then my career kind of just grew from there. But now every day I go to work, and you know, I come across so many kids who walk in, you know, they're 18 years old, and they don't really know what to say, or they don't really know what to do, or they don't even know what to expect when they're about to walk into a store. But this video is gonna be kind of to help you, and you know, first impression, and it begins from the moment you walk in, believe it or not, to get that application or to come in and ask for an application or drop off your resume or anything like that. It really does start from there. So let's go with step one. First thing you want to do is you don't want to go with your posse. So you don't want to walk in there with your group of friends. You don't want to walk in there with your mama. You don't want to walk in there with your grandmama or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You don't want to do none of that, okay? Because as an employer, I'm going to see that as, okay, really? Like, this person can't come in and do this by him or herself, you know? So you want to leave those people outside the mall or outside the store. You just don't want to come in with them. You want to go up to a manager and you want to introduce yourself. You want to give a firm handshake and you want to let them know your name, and you want to ask them, you know, if we're hiring or not. If we are hiring, you know, some stores will give you an application. Some people will just do an on-the-spot interview. Some people will ask for a resume, whatever the case may be. Your role is to A, not walk in there with your mama, and B, to make sure that you look the part. If I walk into a Diesel store, I'm gonna walk into a Diesel store looking. If I have Diesel jeans, I'm gonna be rocking those Diesel jeans, okay? If I walk into a Guess, if I walk into a True Religion, those are denim companies. I'm gonna walk in there denim. You have to look the part to where you're going. Honestly, that moment that you walk in is going to basically make or break you. Trust me. It's a first impression, and you will be judged from the moment you walk in. You have to show an actual interest. If you come in, you have your resume ready, you have a pen with you, and you are prepared, it shows that you thought about this. It was a well thought out idea that you created in your mind, and you set your mind to it. You came and you're going to follow through with this whole action plan. So please make sure that you bring a pen with you. Applications, I personally would go outside the store and then fill it out and then come back in. So that's just me. You want to make sure that your application is filled out completely. Believe it or not, when employers look at applications, they want to see how thorough it is. So if you forget something simple like your phone number, it shows that you really weren't paying that much attention to it. You need some type of organization skills. Employers are going to want to see that, and they're going to want to make sure that you can follow directions. And if you look at an application, the first thing it says is to fill it out completely. So if you leave a whole bunch of empty spaces, you're not following directions. So why am I going to want to hire you, right? So you want to make sure that it is filled out as thoroughly as possible. You want to dress the part. I've had some people come in on interviews and they've worn suits, and that's great. It shows that you want to be professional, but that's great if you're going to work in a place that sells suits or is more of like a bank or something like that. In the whole retail world, the whole fashion world, an employer wants to see how well you can put an outfit together. They want to see how well you accessorize. If I'm going to go into an Aldo Accessories and I'm going to have an interview, I'm going to make sure that my accessories are on point. Why? Because I want the employer to see that I can put myself together. If I could hook myself up, then I'm going to be able to hook others up, okay? So we notice things like that. When you come to an interview, you want to come to the place dressed as if you already worked there. Some answers that you should never ever say. We can start with like super generic questions, some generic answers. Some people will ask you, why do you want to work here? It's probably the most commonly asked question in any company. Why do you want to work here? It's such a simple question, but your answer will determine whether you get the job or not, okay? Some answers are, because let's say I'm applying to Armani Exchange. Why do you want to work for Armani Exchange? Honestly, I just need a job, and I heard you guys were hiring, so I came here. No. That answer is possibly the worst answer you can ever use. Number one, if you're just looking for a job, you just want something that's going to pay you, you're a renter and not an owner. Think about it. You're a renter because you want this job, but you don't care about it. It's just like when you rent and you own a home. When you own a home, you care about it. You're going to care about putting a nail through a wall. You're going to care about painting it. You're going to care about the scratches on the floor. When you're a renter, you don't care. You're there for a little while and then you're out, right? So if you're saying, I just need a job right now, automatically in our minds, we're like, oh, homegirl, she's a renter. So no, we want owners. Sorry for all that noise. Why should I hire you? Don't use the common answers. I'm hardworking. I'm trustworthy. I'll always be on time. I'm a perfectionist. So tiring. Think about it. If I'm interviewing so many people a day, right? Sometimes spend the entire day interviewing, right? If I'm interviewing so many people a day and I get the same answers from everybody, do you think I'm really going to remember you? No. You want to make sure that you use different words. Why should you hire me? You should hire me because I am going to be an asset to your team. Let's use True Religion now. I'm just trying to think about stores that are around. You should hire me because True Religion is a denim company. That's another thing. You always want to do your research. If you're going to go into a store, if you're going to walk into a Pink and they're going to ask you, well, why should I hire you? Oh my God, you should hire me because even before Pink existed, I always shopped with my mom in Victoria's Secret. And I know Victoria's Secret and Pink are in the same company. When Pink came along and I went to college, I was all about the sweatpants and all about just that look. You want to make sure that you talk about that company. So if I'm going to go, if it's a group interview and someone is asking questions and they say, whoever wants to answer can answer, trust me. I'm looking for that outgoing person. I'm looking for the person who's not going to be shy to talk to me. At the end of the day, if you want to be in retail, you have to talk to strangers every day of your life. So I want to see who's going to be the vocal one in the group. Who's going to be the one that's not just speaking, but that's actually saying something that's worth listening to. There's so many questions that interviewers like to ask. And I don't want to say my questions out here, because then, you know, people are just going to come on this channel and then they're going to know what questions I'm going to ask them, and they're not going to, you know, kind of have that shocked reaction when I ask them. So I'm not going to say what questions I ask, but I will say this. If there's any particular question that you need help with, or think that they might ask you and you want to know what would be like a pretty good answer, you can comment below and I'll definitely respond back to you. It's not like I have a gazillion followers. I have a few followers. Most of them are from work. So I don't know. Just if anyone happens to come across this video, and if you do need some help, take it from me. This is what I do. Definitely here to help you guys. I feel like we all have to start from somewhere. So I hope this video was a little bit informative. I will talk to you guys soon. My next video will be on makeup. Yes, I just got back from work though, so my makeup's already on. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.